Hi there, I'm Dr. Renee Pleasant of Pleasant Leadership Consulting, where we inspire your leadership freedom. Also, I'd like to welcome you to our YouTube channel, Leadership University. This is the first video in our series dedicated to what is leadership. So if you are not following us, please take a moment and subscribe to the YouTube channel, or you can also follow us on our webpage at pleasantleadership.com. So let's go ahead and get started with this video series. We go ahead and start with defining what is leadership, and where better to begin than with the experts. So Peter Drucker defines leadership as the only definition of a leader is someone who has followers. Harry Kissinger defines leadership as the task of the leader is to get his people from where they are to where they have not been. And one of my esteemed favorites in leadership and my role model, John C. Maxwell, says leadership is influence, nothing more and nothing less. Have you heard the phrase a natural born leader? Well, are leaders born that way or are they made? That is a question that has been asked for years. In fact, it is a heated discussion in the field of leadership. And we're going to talk about that. Are leaders naturally born that way or are they made? So, in the camp of whether leaders are born rather than being made, there are two prominent theories. One is the great man theory, and that is the theory that men are born with innate characteristics of leadership, and that when a situation presents itself, they will rise to the role of leadership and they will take over in that situation. Thus, they are a great man, innately inherited to leadership role. Then there is another theory called the trait theory, meaning that they are naturally born with the traits predestined for leadership, and that these traits cannot be learned. Thus, these two prominent theories feel that leaders are born and that they cannot be made. On the flip side of the controversy, there is the camp that feels that leaders are made rather than they are born into it, meaning that there are traits and skills that can be learned or taught to leaders. And that is broken into three different categories or three different theories, if you will. So there is the behavioral, in that we can teach leaders what does a good leader do. There is the contingency theory that we can teach persons what does the situation influence for good leadership. And then there is the power and influence. What is the source of the leader's power? So under the behavioral theory, you have different leadership styles like autocratic leadership, democratic leadership, and laissez-faire, for just a few of the examples. And then under the contingency theory, you have some models you may be familiar with: contingency model, leadership process model, and situational leadership theory that works on the situation which influences the leadership response to it. And then under power and influence, you might be very familiar with a lead by example, the transactional leadership, and then French and Raven's 5 forms of power. Just again, these are just samples. This is not an all-inclusive list of how we train or teach or make leaders. Again, this is just a sampling. This is not an all-inclusive. As a side note, in future videos, I will be going over some of the leader-made models and the more commonly known leader theories in the future videos. So you've got to be asking yourself, what's the conclusion? Are leaders born or are they made? You know, research has done an extensive amount of studies on both sides. They've studied twins who've gone into leadership roles, twins who have not gone into leadership roles. They've looked at the traits that make up a great leader. And the bottom line is it's both. It's a combination of both. Currently, the trend is that it's probably more so a made leader rather than a born leader. And the shift is that, yes, it helps to have born tendencies or born traits that leaders have, but it doesn't have to be you're born into it. You can learn a lot of those traits. So Does it help that if you're born with a few of those traits? Absolutely. But do you have to have it? No. You can learn them. So you are an aspiring leader and you want to be a great leader. So what do you do? What traits do you need to have? So those traits could be ones that you're born with or traits that you are looking to develop. So what are your top five? According to Gallup and their 50 years of research from employees, these are your top five traits that you want to develop or that you want to bring out if you have them naturally. Number one, you want to inspire teams to complete great tasks. Number two, you want to set goals and provide resources for your teams to excel. Number three, you want to influence others and push them through adversity to persevere. John Maxwell said it himself, influence others. Number four, you want to build committed and collaborative teams. Teamwork makes the dream work, right? And number five, you want to be a strategic planner and an analytical thinker. Those are your five top traits, according to Gallup, and 50 years of research of employees in their opinion of what makes a great leader. So if you do not have those skills innately that were gifted to you, then you have to work on those skills and build them up as to be a great leader. Hey guys, well, that's the end of this week's video, but there's more coming back next week, continuing in our series on leadership. So I hope you were able to get something of value out of this week. I would love to see your comments below. And if you haven't done so, go ahead and subscribe to our Leadership University channel here on YouTube. And if you're interested, please follow us on our social media accounts or visit us on our webpage at pleasantleadership.com. Until next week, I hope that every day is a stellar day.